Hello, let's do connections for Wednesday, July 30th. Didn't they just have a button here recently? It means like two things that are next to each other. A butt. I don't see things like that. You have monorail, train, and coach. These are different types of transportation. Like a coach, like the one pulled by horses in the Old West sort of thing. Although a coach could also be a car on a train, but it could be also its own type of transportation. But I don't see another type of transportation in here. Oh, vehicle. Is that it? Because vehicle could also go with medium. I think they've done that before. An instrument. That's like a tool you use to get something done. I don't know what this word is. Tetracycline? Cycline? I know tetra means 4. We have dioxide. That means 2. Mono means 1. Tri means 3. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 in here. Is that it? Instead of the vehicle modes of transportation thing? I'm going to try this one. Okay, starting with Greek numerical prefixes. So what is coach going with? You can coach something. You can guide something. You can train somebody. You can direct. So this is like to instruct. Instruct, nailed it. We still have vehicle and medium in here. We also have an instrument. Maybe an organ? That, I don't know if organ seems right. What would a butt, bulge, groan, and viola be doing then? So I'm pretty sure about medium, instrument, and vehicle. I'm just not sure about the fourth one. Or is this voila? Am I saying that incorrectly? Is that voila? Either way, it doesn't seem to go with these other ones. I'm going to go organ. That's the only one that seems to match. Yeah, means. I don't know if I've heard of organ in that way, but okay. It's the only one that even remotely made any sense whatsoever. Are these... What's the term when you switch up letters? An anagram? Is that what it is? An anagram of musical instruments. You have tuba, bugle, organ. That's funny they have organ in here twice, if that's the case, and viola. Or viola. I'm not sure. I never remember how that's pronounced. But yeah, I think this is anagrams of musical instruments. Nice. Nailed the category name exactly. That one's tough. I never would have put that together. I mean, I did, but only because it was the only category left. I don't think I would have put it together before the other ones. So yeah, a couple red herrings in there. Like, I almost submitted the vehicle one. With vehicle, monorail, train, and... What was the other one? Coach. Yeah, I almost submitted that one. They didn't split them all up, one into each category, because train and coach were in the same yellow category there, so that's interesting. Huh. That's the second time, I think, in the last couple of weeks they've had a butt in here. Maybe in the last week. I feel like it was pretty recent they had a butt in here. Well, let's see how difficult they said it was. 3 out of 5. I mean, the purple was crazy. Don't get me wrong. Purple is crazy, but if you know your Greek prefixes, the numerical one, that one, if you can get blue, it's pretty easy. But if you don't have that, it's going to be tough. Especially since there seem to be a couple red herrings in there. Okay, let's check the butt. Okay, it's not as hard as they thought it was, yeah. Only 2 out of 5 difficulty, 70% solve rate. The biggest category is none, so kind of changed from the last few days where they said it was easier, but the general public had a harder time of it. Maybe people are more familiar with their Greek prefixes than they thought. I mean, tetracycline, what was that one? I don't even remember what it was. I don't even know what that means. Let's look that up, in fact. Tetracycline. It's an antibiotic used to treat various bacterial infections. Oh, okay. Yeah, that one kind of stood out as something that didn't fit with anything else. But if you see the prefix at the beginning, it kind of gives it away. Wow, 1 in 11. I think that might be the lowest uniqueness I've ever seen. At least that I remember. I'm sure there's probably like one I've had like 1 in 9 or something like that for a regular rainbow order or something. Yeah, people are seeing the blue. I mean, it's not as high as yellow here for coaching, train, direct guide, but it is easily the second most. Green and purple, you know, those ones, not as much. Medium is a weird word. I think people don't really use it, I don't think, in everyday speech to mean a means. Like medium, you're generally talking about sizes of something. And if you do think of it as a means, it's usually like one of those, like a spiritual medium, like a palm reader or something like that, you know, like that sort of medium where people go to, you know, I don't know, I've never been to one, but I know it's used in that way. So I think that's what people think of it as. And that is kind of what it means in that context, but I don't think people think of it in the same way as vehicle or instrument. Let's check ever. So yellow stands out, you know, at 90%, and then the other three are really close, 75, 74, 72, really, really close. Interesting. So if you're losing, you get yellow or nothing, maybe green. And Oregon for green, going back to Oregon, I don't know if I would have put that in there if I hadn't already gotten these other two categories. Because I don't view Oregon as a means of doing something. Like, I don't know if I've heard of it in that context. The only reason I put it in there was because it didn't, you know, like these other four didn't fit with this at all. Oregon was the only one that I could even think of being a possibility there. Yep, transport, the biggest mistake. I almost did that. I was that close to submitting it. Putting triangle in with Oregon. You know, it's kind of crazy that they had Oregon in here twice, now that I think about it. I don't know if I can remember another time of them doing something like that. So they had Oregon in here that didn't go in the musical category, but Groan did, the anagram of Oregon. So yeah, that is very tricky. The more I think about it, the more tricky that is. Because yeah, putting Oregon and triangle, although those are instruments, again, I keep harping on this, they're not going to put things that mean another thing in the same category. Like, if they had organ and triangle in a category, it would be in the category called instrument. They're not going to have instrument with those two things. Like, if you have one clue that is like under the category of another clue, they're generally not going to put those two things together. It'd be like having like gorillas, chimpanzees, people, and I don't know, and then apes. You know, it's like those are all apes. The other three are apes. They're not going to put ape in there with those other three things. Instrument, it's kind of close to these other ones, but it would be more like instruct. In fact, that was the name of the category. Instrument is not a verb like that. You don't instrument something. You instruct something. Yeah, and another one where people put organ in there instead of groan. I mean, bugle, they're only switching the G and the L there. Voila, I think that's voila. Viola, I think they're only switching the I and the O. Organ, they've moved the O all the way to the middle. You have to move that over two spots to get to organ. And what was the other one? A butt. Tuba. Oh, that's completely spelled backwards. But bugle, you can kind of just see it. If you're not looking at it closely, you might get it jumbled in your head and just think that says bugle, because your brain, when it reads words, it's generally only reading the first and last letter, and then as long as the middle letters are kind of right, your brain usually reads them. If you've ever done one of those tests where they jumble up the middle of words and put an entire paragraph, you can generally read it if you just glance over it quickly. Because your brain doesn't read each individual letter, generally speaking. So I can see how people wouldn't think this bulge is jumbled up, and they might just think it says bugle. They might not be thinking of anagrams here. Same with voila and viola. So yeah, definitely an interesting puzzle. Kind of crazy that they put organ in there basically twice. I don't know if I've seen that before. If you are enjoying the videos, please remember to leave a like, subscribe, or follow, and let me know how you did today.